Sorry about that. What's up, everybody? Welcome to my next episode of my review. This is possibly my last one for a while. Sorry for the wait. I was just trying to figure out which another album I can re-review and things of that nature. And so, of course, I didn't. I was going to do The Dog Father by Snoop Dogg, but I think I mentioned this in the last review, but I think I mentioned that my opinions still say the same since I did that review. It was not like as good as Doggy Style. Not one of my favorites from Snoop though. Maybe I might do a review. Maybe my opinion might change like months or a year from now. I don't know. So I'm picking another album that had mixed feelings from a lot of hip hop heads, and this is Jay Z's second studio album in my lifetime, Volume One. Okay, so before I start, I don't want to say happy belated 20th anniversary to Reasonable Doubt. I might do I want to do a review on that one day, but yeah, I'm gonna do a review on that one day, and because I know everybody in the mobs have done a review on YouTube, so me, I like to go against the grain at times when I review. But okay, so I reviewed this album. I think it was last year. I reviewed it, if I'm not mistaken. I thought it was a very underrated album. I mean, it's not don't get me wrong, it's not a reasonable doubt too. Although there are some tracks that have a reasonable doubt influence, but this was released at the height of the whole shiny suit era, and judging from like the leather jacket, the Rolex he's rocking in the album cover, like you can tell like I think Puffy executive produced this whole album. If I'm not, did he do it? Yeah, him, Dame Dash, and Kareem Biggs Burke. It was mostly like Puffy who directly executive produced this whole album. You gotta understand, 1997, Puffy was like possibly the most successful hip hop artist at that time. Like that No Way Out album he came out was very big. Um, Bad Boy was he was influenced a lot of like East Coast acts, and this is like straight after the whole Tupac big East Coast West Coast beef. And so yeah, and so Jay Z, I believe Jay Z, because him and Puff were like really cool and stuff like that. So that's why he just wanted. I think it's kind of like how the late Columbia wanted Nas to do more. It was written have like a more mass appeal to it, because Illmatic was like a grimy. It was how can I put it? It was like more boom bap. Well, it was written although it still has some of that grime as Illmatic, had like a couple more like touches, like flashy touches and stuff like that. And of course, it's a much better album than this. And some of the problems I realized this album has, like it was like I feel like some of the production. Re-listening to the album now, I feel like some of the production was some shit some of the beats were now some shit Jay Z really didn't really feel comfortable rapping on. Like the whole I Know What Girls Like with Puff Daddy and Lil Kim. Oh my god, that song is horrendous. I mean, this is like the song I always skip. This song and Always Be My Sunshine. I mean, and I felt like I said that those two songs, if they would have cut those two songs out, it would have been a much better album. But it's not just those two songs. It's just the whole. For many people, a lot of people kind of blame Puff for influencing Jay to jump on that his old bandwagon of the shiny suit era. And he wasn't really the only rapper to add a few like the only rapper to how can I put this? Because like a lot of East Coast heads, like for example, what was that one? Mike Geronimo, for example, perfect example. Okay, so he dropped The Natural back in '95, underground classic. I mean, that song's dope. The energy dope. And so yeah, it was a very hip hop heads will agree that that's like one of the most sleeper albums of '95. And then fast forward 2 years later, he dropped his next album. What's the name of that? His next album. What's the name of that? Excuse me, right quick, y'all. I just had that out slipped out of my tongue. Vendetta. So Vendetta was released in 1997, same year as this album. That album's still style was different. I mean, th- and that was and like it was bad enough that the first song off the album was a song called "Nothing Moved But the Money," featuring, as usual, Puff Daddy, Kelly Price. It was like, what the fuck? Like, really? Although, like, I said the production is way better than the one on this album, Barley Mall and Pete Rock, they did a few beats on that. It just threw me off guard because this, The Natural was a very grimy album for '95. Then Vendetta came out. It did have some highlights on the album, like The Usual Suspects. Then you have Street Life. Although Street Life was still on that range, the bridge between flashy to grimy and stuff like that. Other than that, that's an album I felt like killed Mike Geronimo, in my opinion. It just killed him, in my opinion. But back to this album. There are certain songs where I do love, like for example, I love the intro, A Million and One Questions, Rhyme No More. Primo, he did his thing with that beat. I mean, like what I got from that song is like how people are always questioning Jay-Z's past and things of that nature. And then once you get to Rhyme No More, it's like Jay's talking about how cats don't rhyme like they used to, how they let the money change them. Ironically, yeah, very dope song. Then we have another song I love, Imaginary Player, which I think I've said that was my favorite song off the album. I forgot because of course YouTube blocked my other review, copyright bullshit. And Imaginary Player, I love the concept of that song. He's talking about rappers always how rappers always flash what they got or they claim that they got this, they claim that they got that, but at the same time they don't really have it. They're just trying to fool you and things like that. That's a very dope concept because a lot of these rappers today, you see them music videos and they have fucking dope flash jewelry, have rides everywhere where knowing damn well that most of that shit's rented or yeah. And then there's this one line that I loved. He said, where's it at? He said, "Damn Playboy, what the fuck is the Hummer at? Where's all the ice with all the platinum under that? Those ain't Rolex diamonds. What the fuck you done to that? Y'all rapping ass nigga, y'all funny to me." Very clever line. And I believe it or not, that line was actually a shot at Mace because him and Mace had this like kind of like it wasn't like a beef. They had like a misunderstanding of some sorts, and so they were subliminally dissing each other on records. Yeah. And then another song I like is "Streets is Watching," which was by far one of the most sleeper songs off this album. I love how grimy that beat is and things of that nature. Very dope song. Streets is Watching, classic shit. Of course, he did a whole soundtrack, the whole soundtrack, the movie Streets is Watching, which the movie Streets is Watching, which basically talks about it's just like a documentary of like Roc-A-Fella and it's trying to promote like more the people on the roster. What else? Lucky Me, another personal song. Who You With Too. Well, the original version was on the Spawn soundtrack. This version was actually the sequel where it had like an extra verse. I much prefer the album version, this version, than the one on the Spawn soundtrack, of course. What else? Face Off featuring Sauce Money. I always love when Sauce and Jay do songs together. And another song I love, Rap Game, Crack Game. Time to compare the Rap Game to Crack Game. That You Must Love Me, another personal song. I mean, and you gotta understand, '97, he was going through, him and Biggie died in '97, and he was close friends with Biggie, and so there was like a lot of personal songs here, which kind of I feel like gets overshadowed by the regular song. Like I feel like I kind of feel like songs like I Wish Where I'm From was a single. I don't think that was really a single. And yeah, if they would have cut like if they wouldn't have I Know What Girls Like on the album and All About Sunshine, I feel like the public's reaction would have been a lot better. I love The City Is Mine featuring Blackstreet. Um, that was a song from Bad Boys but he did that song right in my opinion. So overall, this album, would I recommend it? Yes, I would recommend it, but don't expect a Reasonable Doubt 2. Expect songs with a Reasonable Doubt feel to it though. So yeah, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, Jay Z. Um, that's all the time I have. Stay tuned for more stuff. Peace.